This is Black Views, bringing you the Black News. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today I bring you two video snippets of Ann Coulter, columnist, author, and political commentator. Today she's going to be speaking in reference to immigration and how it affects America. And the last part is going to pretty much talk about how Kamala cosplays as foundational Black American. So without further ado, let's get to it.
I mean, to the extent any party talks about this at all, you got to admit, caller, it is only Republicans. But no, I don't think there will be enough votes for that. There are things that are popular that would help the issues that the caller.
Keep in mind, I am not Republican nor am I Democrat. These are Ann Coulter's statements.
Mentioned, as I always say, fixing immigration makes everything easier. The amount of money being sucked
Fair use.
out of the federal government by immigrants is astronomical. They always fiddle with the numbers to hide it. But I mean, just the translators, the massive amount of crime being committed by immigrants, which is also lied about, covered in Adios America. The judges, the public defenders, the jail cells, the English as a second language classes. And this is to say nothing of, I mean, New Yorkers are getting a taste of it now. It used to just be the border states and places like California, the enormous, giant, heaping amount of wealth.
And not just New York, also the District of Columbia, such as also Maryland, the whole state of Maryland. And there are other states as well, such as California and many states throughout the Union that are experiencing a great flux of immigration, more in particular in places where foundational Black Americans live.
Welfare being given to immigrants, legal and illegal, compared to native-born Americans and or American-headed households. And by now, since Reagan's amnesty, that includes a lot of very recent immigrants. Illegal immigrants collect the most in illegal immigrant-headed households, and I'll tell you why I say that in a second, collect vastly the most amount of welfare, followed by legal immigrants, followed by American-headed families. And the reason I...
Did you hear that? So for all of you tethers, shills, and there's a big flux of immigrants who pass for white. And they're the ones on Twitter right now that are talking about Black people being on welfare, Black people not having jobs, when that's furthest from the truth. In fact, you notice like this certain group, they don't talk about immigrants being on welfare and taking up all the resources in America. You know why? Because they are the immigrants that are online talking about you, foundational Black American, talking about your own welfare. This is all immigrants talking, and they're trying to find a justification for their being losers. Let's go.
Say American-headed or illegal-headed is one of the ways they lie about this, is by counting illegal aliens who drop an anchor baby as American. That's an American. And, you know, what does most welfare go for?
Notice the terminology is going mainstream now. An anchor baby. Foundational Black Americans. See? Media is picking it up because they're starting to see. See, the facts come from the grassroots because we're largely affected by what goes on in America. Let's go.
Goes for the kids. It's the illegal alien anchor baby who's sucking in all the welfare to support his entire family, and no court and no Congress has ever said officially ruled that the child of illegal immigrants is an American citizen. That was a footnote in a Justice Brennan opinion. It was dicta. It was not.
There's no paperwork. There's no judgment. There's no law that says a foreigner that comes to this country and have a child, just have a child. They're here illegally and they have a child. That child is American citizen. So you see how the sham has been going on for tens of years. The Democrats never keep us abreast with the laws. Even our own black congressmen and congresswomen have nothing to say. They never warned us of the tidal wave that was coming.
Part of the ruling, and now everybody just acts like it's true. That is something that Trump absolutely could have changed with an executive order. The great federal judge, and boy, he's not a conservative, Richard Posner, he was for a while the most, I think he's retired now, but the most cited federal judge, absolutely brilliant man, and again, whoa, not a conservative. He used a concurrence in one of his opinions years ago to beg Congress to deal with this custom, this treatment of anchor babies, acting like the children of illegal aliens are American citizens. No, the 14th Amendment was written specifically.
Who said they're American citizens? Do you see how in this country people just make stuff up? They just literally make shit up. No one said that an anchor baby was an American citizen. It's nowhere written in the law. It's nowhere does it say that. But in America, they're treated as such because of votes, hand-downs, and set-asides for the Democratic shields. This is diabolical. You could not make this up. And what it is they feed off of us, foundational black Americans. And a lot of this has to do with our own failures. But it is due to white supremacy because they wouldn't have a monetization to do this if it was not given. Let's go.
About former slaves. That's what it was about. Even the former Klanner on the Supreme Court said this is about freemen. This is about former slaves. They are citizens. They were born. They are citizens of the jurisdiction in which they live. It is not about an 8-month pregnant Mexican running across the border and dropping a baby. You really think that's what the country was thinking about immediately after the Civil War? It is exclusively about black people. Congress should pass a law. Oh, Harry Reid, former Democratic leader of the Senate. He used to give speeches on this on the Senate floor, how insane the treatment of this creation of anchor babies is. Really ferocious speeches. But then I guess Democrats realized, hey, the immigrants are voting for us. Let's keep the gravy train going.
Ann Coulter is the author of 13 New York Times bestsellers.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, I want to stop right there before we go on to the next video. The key word was the gravy train. You know, there are going to be a lot of people that will watch this video and they'll say that foundational black Americans are divisive. That is furthest from the truth. We're not divisive. We're just calling it like it is. You know, if we were in a country where every group received benefits and set-asides like other groups do now, maybe we would be singing a different tune. But it's not the case. We're in particular targeted against when you use all of the programs that were set aside for foundational black Americans and you give those to other groups who are basically here illegally. That is a slap in the face, a spit in the face, and then dump them right on top of us. You know, they didn't say, well, let's take them over to the Mojave Desert somewhere. Let's take them over somewhere where there are not a large population of people and build that area up. No, they put them right on top of us, gave them set-asides and programs so they can build businesses so that they can sell to us, and then still allowing our children to kill and just exterminate themselves in the streets. And there's no programs for that. But we have programs for people that are in full-out war with Russia, okay, so that they can defend themselves. Let's go.
And good morning, Ms. Coulter. I thank God for you. And yes, I am a Democrat. And I can't tell you, I was just listening to what Peter read a few moments ago, that piece about Kamala Harris and her being, grabbing onto her quote-unquote blackness. I'm 54, and you are absolutely right. And yes, former President Trump mentioned about her, all of a sudden finding out or becoming black. But again, I'm 54, and I remember, it is brought back to my remembrance that during her time, what was it, a prosecutor or a district, whatever she was doing, if anyone were to bring up about her being black or saying that she was black, she had a visceral reaction to that in her body language. She did not want to be thought of as black, and certainly as a prosecutor back then, she had put so many black people, and particularly black men, in jail. And unfortunately, black people have a very short memory span, and it's hurting us. It's hurting us right now.
All right, Belia, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you for calling in. Ann Coulter.
She speaks of a very short attention span. And that is the truth. And that's also designed by our leaders as well, that allow us to forget and during key moments have nothing to bring up in our favor. So let's get on to the next. Let's go.
Well, even if she had always, and thank you very much for your call, even if she had always claimed to be an American black, it's simply factual that she is not a foundational black American. And again, that is why America.
This is another reason why the Tethers and the Shields hate us, is because our terms are becoming mass media, and they're becoming household names. Foundational Black Americans. When black people realize what a foundational black American is, there's some that's probably never heard the term before, but it logically makes sense. We must delineate from those that come here and mean us harm. We must delineate from those that will come here and call themselves black, and then based on their own achievements, they will then say they are Nigerian, they are African, they are this great African king from Zimbabwe. I don't even know where the hell, but there's going to be some person that looks like us, sound like us, dress like us, cosplay as us, did downgrade us, and then in the name of success will say that they're Nigerian. We must delineate from backstabbers. Now also, all Caribbeans immigrants are not tethers. Okay, we have riders, we have people that understand what white supremacy is. The tethers are the ones that come here with no knowledge of it, and they pretty much cosplay and get along to get over and ahead, and they could care less about you.
Has all of these provisions like affirmative action and set-asides and civil rights laws, it is because of the shame and guilt about slavery and Jim Crow, both little democratic enterprises, by the way, so it all has to be spent on black Americans, not on any loser with a grievance from around the world. And that's what it's become. I listed in that column you mentioned, Peter, because it always makes me laugh that all the good diversity jobs are going to immigrants. There was Claudine Gay.
Point made. All the good diversity jobs go to immigrants. I've seen this firsthand. And right there in the server room, right there in the knock, all the immigrants are right there. And the black people are kind of set aside, and it's a track on your way out, or there's a glass ceiling where you won't become that guy because it's all filled up with them. And the shit is like Congress. They'll sit up in there until somebody dies off before that job is available. And this is what's going on. And I have done a lifetime, over 20, 25 years working in IT, a lifetime dealing with the immigrant for the backstabbing, and just the nepotism is unbelievable. And there's nothing said. Nobody says anything. Because most likely the LGBTQ is the director. Let's go.
The head of a lot of the affirmative action programs, and there are like 200 affirmative action or DEI administrators. They're Indians, a lot of Indians. And I went through all of the immigrants.
And you see how she said a lot of Indians? They're there. They are up in this mother hunching. Okay? And they are scammers. Okay? Many times they cheat on their exams. Many times they give certifications out just for pay. You know, these people are scammers. And here we have Kamala Harris. And she is scamming to say that she is African American or that she is a foundational Black American. It's no way, bro. It's no way. She doesn't have any blood or any nothing that says she is Black or even a Black Jamaican. It's none of that. It's all cosplay, and we're not gonna sit here and play this game for the fact of her personal success and does nothing for the foundational Black American. Let's go.
Hosts on MSNBC, and I forget, there are like 8 of them. And 3 or 4 foundational Black Americans. And I know, MSNBC, oh, they're so proud of their diversity. No, it's not about diversity. It's about integrating Black Americans into mainstream American life, and giving them benefits to make.
Integrating, when she says back into life, because we never were integrated into this. This thing has been hijacked. Affirmative action, all of this crap has been hijacked since my father's time. Since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. It has been hijacked with immigration. And everybody plays the fucking game. Oh, yeah, it's for everybody, And we just supposed to sit here and keep taking nothing burgers and watch shit go by our eyes. And they tell us there's no money, there's no way we could do it. But then you see 50 billion, boom, go right to Ukraine. 50 fucking billion. Let's go.
Make up for slavery and Jim Crow. I think, some affirmative action programs went a little far and aren't really helping, but that's what it's about, and we've completely pretended to forget what the point of this was. So,
boom. That's Ann Coulter. First of all, like I said, I want to say fair use, and I appreciate her interview that she has here because she's stating facts. She's stating facts. You don't see any shield, any Black person of color from mass media that can get on here and say this. And I'm not talking about the grassroots sisters and the brothers out here that's getting up there and putting the word out. I'm talking about this already established. No one will say a damn thing. You know why? Because they're shills. They're getting paid. They're getting paid to go along with the show. Just keep the shit riding. Let's get through this year. Let's get through next year. And they just keep playing the game until that young man is an old man, dead and gone, and is there for the next groupie shill to come in and get a bus of butter biscuit. That's your Roland Martin. That is your Roland Martin. And I'm going to leave it at that. Please like, subscribe, also comment. This is Black Views, bringing you the Black News.